Good morning. My name is Dale Kirchner. I'm happy to be with you today. Memories sometimes come to mind as we experience differences in our normal routines. It makes our minds renew old thoughts. Such is the time I want to speak about today. This is a story from an early time in my life, the summer of 1943. I want to tell it to you as I remember it, and I hope it leaves a message that will remind you of pleasant times in your life also. Gravel roads are a very dusty thing in the summertime in the country. It was a warm summer Sunday morning when we left our farm in southern Minnesota on our way to the Norwegian Lutheran church in town. The town was quite small, maybe 500 or 600 people. But it had 3 Lutheran churches and 1 Roman Catholic church to serve both the town and, of course, the surrounding farm communities. This day was exciting because we were going to get a new pastor. My brother and I had an idea of what he would be like. Traditionally, we were served by pastors at the end of their career or in retirement. As we became seated, I always knew where everyone that I knew sat. I enjoyed the splash of color from our stained glass windows. In the front was a statue of Jesus surrounded by children. In the front row, I saw a group in the pew. I spotted a new pastor immediately, older, gray hair, sitting next to a very nicely dressed, motherly type lady. Next to them was another couple I did not recognize. The president of the congregation rose to speak. He was not a man accustomed to this task. He ran a trucking company hauling grain and livestock for the farm community. He spoke very briefly about the change and the opportunity for us to have a new pastor. Abruptly, he stopped and said, "Reverend Hercy, meet your congregation." I watched the older couple twist slightly in the pew, and suddenly a young man rose, turned toward the audience, smiled, and walked to the pulpit. He was slightly built, very pale, but with a strong, firm voice. He thanked the congregational president. My brother and I looked at each other and wondered how this could be. So began one of the most influential times of my life. Pastor Hercy had been a missionary in a far-off iceberg called Alaska. To us, imagined as a place with igloos and snow. How could we be so lucky? And indeed, we were incredibly lucky. Reverend Hercy had been a pastor in a place few people would want to live. We learned of his experiences in Alaska, always tied to the gospel. He told us of the needs of people in areas that were difficult to reach. He told of wrestling with a dog team that was used when necessary to reach some of the congregation. He acted like a missionary, medicine man, and a friend to those in need. His sermons reminded of us how it was like God helping each of us find our way in frightening times. How his trust in the lead dog is like us looking to our leader, Jesus Christ. To a 7-year-old farm boy, this was real. We lived through snowstorms with blinding winds, making the community around us invisible. He told us of the difficulty in finding his way back to town and his home where he lived, trusting only in God's presence to find his safe home. Pastor Hercy did not stay with us long, but his faith has stayed with me all of my life. World War II was on, and I had 2 brothers away from home in other parts of Europe and New Guinea. I had a cousin killed at Pearl Harbor. Another died on the USS Houston when it was attacked. A member of our congregation was thought to be a prisoner of war in Japan, and later we found that to be true. To know that people was with these people was meaningful. The pastor told us to have faith, trust in God. That faith was very important to me then, as it is today. Why do I tell this story today, 75 years later? Well, for many reasons. But the main one is to help us with the young people in our congregation and community who might be having a difficult time understanding what is happening to their normally organized lives. Maybe all of us can talk to them with reassurance that God is with all of us in these days. Our churches are meaningful in how we live our lives. They bring comfort and hope on a regular basis. The storm of this disease time continues. Let us to remember to keep our hopes up and our faith strong. Bless you now and in the weeks ahead. Jesus said in John 13, "Just as I have loved you, you should love one another." Jesus commands each of us to always love. Let me close with a short prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this brief time together. We thank you for the messages that we receive from our church, for the uplifting thoughts from our pastors as they remind us that this is a temporary period and that we are all in this together. God bless us, and may God bless each of you. Amen.